You ever had someone march right up to your fence and start screaming about having rights to your property, like it's theirs, just because they run some little HOA? Let me tell you, you've never seen chaos until an HOA president in heels comes after your lake access with all the fury of a courtroom drama. Except you're the one grilling burgers, and she's pounding your gate with a clipboard. Yeah, that's where my nightmare started, and by the time it ended, well, let's just say the whole community was different. I'm Garrison Webb, 20 years Navy, most of him crawling through ship hulls, fixing things nobody else could, dreaming of peace and a patch of water all my own. Lake Hartwell, right on the Georgia-South Carolina line. With my promised land, I dumped every dime I'd ever earned into 3 acres of pine and shoreline. Paradise with one thing that made it gold, a private gate, locked tight, with my own access to the boat launch. Not the community's gate. Mine. My realtor told me, this is the crown jewel, and she wasn't lying. Every morning I'd walk out, coffee in hand, keys jingling, the air thick with pine sap and promise. My wife, Dolores, a librarian with the patience of a saint, she'd join me for evening walks to the dock. Our grandson Trey, 8 years old, learned to fish right there, little hands gripping the rod through that gate. That gate was supposed to be my legacy, generational wealth from a guy who'd grown up scraping by. And then came Karen Whitfield. You want to know what happens when you hand a hall monitor the nuclear codes? You get Karen, 58, real estate agent, BMW SUV, president of Lakeside Preserve HOA for 6 long years, and hellbent on turning our peaceful lake into her own little fiefdom. 2 weeks after I moved in, she's at my door with her clipboard and that smile people use when they're about to rob you blind. Mr. Webb, I need your gate code for board oversight. I blinked. Board oversight? She looked at me like I was speaking Martian. All lake entry points are subject to management. Lady, I've read enough contracts to spot a scam from mile out. Ma'am, this is a private easement. The gate's on my land. Didn't matter. She paced that fence with her phone, measuring everything, her perfume mixing with pine like someone spilled Chanel on a Christmas tree. Mr. Webb, you misunderstand how HOAs work. She said it like she was in charge of the Pentagon, not a bunch of retirees. So I showed her my deed, black and white, exclusive rights. She glanced at it like it was a grocery list. Older documents sometimes conflict with current standards, she sniffed. That's lesson 1 about HOA tyrants. They treat law like a suggestion and their opinions like the word of God. Next thing I know, Karen's got the board voting on a $200 monthly maintenance fee for private access points. $200 for a gate I own on my property that I maintain. I refused. She started parking her BMW out front, staring at my gate like she was casing a bank. There are alternative enforcement methods, she purred, voice dropping to that tone people use when they've never worked a day outside air conditioning. A few days later, a certified letter arrives, county code enforcement. My dock, built in '98 and older than most of the neighborhood, suddenly needs emergency inspection. Classic move. Open a second front when you haven't won the first. Code officer showed up during Trey's birthday party. 12 kids with cake on their faces, and this guy's apologizing while measuring the dock. 20 minutes later, no violations. Dock's grandfathered in. But the damage was done. Parents started looking at me sideways, like I was some troublemaker. That night, I hit the courthouse, digging through records like I was back on a Navy ship, sniffing out supply lines. Buried in that basement, under flickering lights and the smell of old paper, I found it. The original 1987 covenant. All existing water access structures and private easements shall be protected in perpetuity. My dock was built after those protections. Karen's legal attack? Totally backwards. I scanned the whole covenant, highlighted the best part, and sent it to every homeowner. No drama, just facts. Did Karen back down? Of course not. Emergency board meeting. She claims 2015 amendments override everything. But 3 old-timers come to me after, including Mrs. Patterson, 82, who's been there since the start. 4 people showed up for that amendment vote. During Hurricane Matthew, she laughed. Covenant changes need a 60% quorum. For folks out of 47 families, no way. I filed a formal challenge, demanded a real vote. Karen? She doubled down on petty. Daily property inspections, measuring my grass, taking pictures, documenting mailbox angles, even crouching with a ruler in the rain. My grandson asked, "Grandpa, why is that lady so weird?" Wish I had a good answer. But then neighbors started talking, whispering in the grocery store. She made us rip out our roses, one couple muttered. Cost us $3,000. Another, she forced us to fill in our pool. $30,000 in legal fees, and then we just left. Suddenly, I realized this wasn't just about my gate. Karen had been running a reign of terror for years. Next thing I know, I'm served a lawsuit. Karen claims my dock is a navigation hazard and my gate exclusionary. She wants both torn down, plus $25,000 in legal fees. Her husband's law firm buddy is representing the HOA pro bono, which apparently means charging the HOA $500 an hour. Meanwhile, I'm shelling out $300 an hour for a guy to tell me I'm right. Discovery dragged out. Boxes of documents, permits, receipts, even Trey's finger paintings. And the smear campaign? Oh, she was good. Suddenly, I'm the unstable veteran, hoarding lake access, a threat to the community. People stopped waving. Dolores got pulled into meetings at school to defend my honor. You have documented anger issues, Karen told her principal. He builds docks, who knows what else. Dolores came home shaking. I had to show them your Navy discharge papers just to keep my job. Now, I'm not a snoop, but 20 years of security clearance teaches you a thing or two. I started digging into Karen, had an old Navy buddy help me out. Turns out, she skipped out of California after embezzlement allegations. $80,000 in bogus repairs to her family's properties, all swept under the rug before she landed here. Even better, her husband's company raked in $300,000 in no-bid contract from our HOA, at prices 40% above market. I started documenting. Security cameras went up. Georgia's a one-party consent state. Within a week, footage of Karen trespassing on my property at midnight, measuring dock pilings with a flashlight. With that, my lawyer flipped the script, restraining order, countercharges. Meanwhile, Karen launched a petition, trying to get neighbors to vote away my rights. But it backfired. 2 couples approached me with evidence, overbilled driveways, threats of fines. And when I requested HOA financial records, Karen demanded a $500 admin fee, which, by state law, is a misdemeanor. Now she was on the hook for board removal. Her last desperate play? A special assessment, $2,000 a year per family to hire private security to enforce water regulations. Translation: pay for guards to monitor my gate. Folks were furious. Even her diehard supporters started grumbling. Then the bombshell: Mrs. Patterson brought me a folder. Letters, fines, threats. She made me remove Harold's memorial garden. 40 years of marriage, his ashes under those roses. Karen called it unauthorized decoration. Gave me 3 days after the funeral to tear it out. Her hand shook as she handed me a note. Remove or face daily fines. That's when I snapped. This was no longer just about me. This was for everyone Karen had hurt. We dug deeper. Patterson's files had original HOA documents, meticulous expense logs. I cross-referenced storm claims with weather data. 3 of Karen's insurance claims, nearly $90,000, filed for storms that never happened. That's felony fraud. Her homestead exemption was claimed at a different address, illegal for a board member. The web unraveled fast. We formed an alliance, neighbors, lawyers, evidence stacked high. I wrote editorials, shared homeowner rights, built a case tighter than any ship hull I'd ever fixed. 2 weeks, countless scanned documents, every detail cataloged. When the night of the big HOA meeting rolled around, the air was electric. 47 families, a local reporter, sheriff's deputy, even Karen's 3 remaining stooges flanking her at the front. Karen strutted up, laid into me with all she had, accused me of creating a hostile environment, blamed me for legal costs, painted me as a threat. It was my turn. I presented every contract, every fraudulent claim, every residency violation. Played the recording where Karen tried to rope me into insurance fraud. Showed video of her midnight trespassing. The room turned ice cold. Mrs. Patterson stood and told her story, tears streaming. Others followed, one by one, sharing their own Karen horror. The sheriff stepped up. "Ma'am, we need to talk." Karen lunged for my evidence. Deputy restrained her. Cameras rolled. That night, the board voted her out unanimously. Audit authorized. Police called. Karen's world collapsed. Within 2 weeks, she was gone. License revoked, forced restitution. Her husband's company blacklisted. Our community? Stronger than ever. Families got checks for their stolen money. Mrs. Patterson rebuilt Harold's garden. Roses and lavender blooming. A real memorial this time, for everyone to see. We started a scholarship fund for kids going into engineering and public service, using money we got back from Karen. Property values soared. My dock, now a protected community heritage asset. HOA laws got reformed across Georgia. People from all over reached out. "How'd you do it?" I told them, document everything, stand together, never back down. My grandson, Trey, summed it up best. "Grandpa, you used papers to beat the mean lady." Sometimes justice comes with paperwork, not punches. So now, every summer, we grill burgers at my dock. Families laughing, kids fishing, no more clipboard tyrants. But let me ask you, where's the line between power and abuse, between leadership and tyranny? When does standing up become your duty, not just your right? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And tell me, if it were your gate, your family, your legacy, what would you have done? And if you've ever tangled with an HOA or watched justice serve hot, share your story below. Because some battles you don't fight alone.